Hello students! Today we are going to look at attributes of similarity. You can go ahead and write that title on the next odd page of your notebook, Attributes of Similarity. An attribute is basically just a characteristic, something that describes something, and similarity is what we're looking at today. In order for something to be similar, they have to be the same shape. So a triangle is never going to be considered similar to a rectangle. Okay? Triangles are sometimes similar to other triangles, that being the same shape is the first start. The second thing that has to happen is that the angles have to be congruent. They have to be exactly the same. So if this angle is 60, then this angle has to be 60 for them to be similar. If this angle is 60, then this angle has to be 60 for them to be similar, and this angle is 60, well then this one does as well. Notice the angles that are in the same position are the ones that have to be similar. So the purple angles have to be similar to one another. The orange angles have to be similar to one another. And the blue angles have to be congruent to one another. They have to be exactly the same. The angles are exactly the same. Remember, an angle is talking about degrees. So you can have a little bitty triangle and a big, huge triangle, and they can still be similar if those angles are the same. Now, the next thing that you have to have is proportional sides. What that means is, if on my larger triangle, my sides are 10 and 8, then I have to grow and shrink in a proportional measure. So the red side of my large triangle is going to be proportional with the red side of my small triangle. The blue side of my large triangle is going to be proportional with the blue side of my small triangle. As one side increases or decreases, the other has to increase or decrease. So if I know that, let's say, I know 3 pieces of information, then I can obviously figure out my fourth. 10 divided by 2 is 5. The way that I relate from red to red has to be the same way that I relate from blue to blue. 10 divided by 2 is 5, 8 divided by 2 is 4. That makes these proportional. Make sure that the shapes face the same direction before determining similarity. So corresponding sides have to be proportional, meaning the side in the same position has to be proportional. But if the shape is changed in direction, you need to rotate it either mentally or rotate and redraw it before you determine similarity. This is an example of similarity. Right here, this is an example of non-similarity. If I fill in these numbers, let's say I have 1 and 12 here, and I have 2 and 6, okay? These are not similar. First, you can tell that they are sort of the same shape. They're both rectangles, but they don't look to be the same shape. It's not just that one of them is bigger than the other one. One of them is long and skinny, and one of them short and fat. They don't appear to be the same shape. Now, I can look at my angles and see, well, yeah, they're all 90-degree angles. So my corresponding angles are congruent. They're the same. So we meet that requirement. But the proportional sides is where we have a problem. If you notice, I have the shortest side matching with the shortest side. Then I have the long side matching with the long side. If I go from 2 to 1, I'm dividing by 2. If I go from 6 to 12, I'm multiplying by 2. You can't divide one side and multiply the other and call it similar. This is not just a smaller version of this. It's stretched out funny, but it's not the same thing. When you're thinking about similarity, think about enlarging a picture or projecting an image on the large screen. Those images are similar. If I take a photograph that looks like this and I enlarge it to look like this, it's going to be a normal photograph turned to be short and kind of fat looking, yeah? Or if it was to go the other way, then it would be tall and skinny. Because I didn't enlarge both sides at the same rate, or because I didn't shrink both sides at the same rate, these are not similar. Similar shapes look the same, just they're different sizes sometimes, and the sides are proportional. Not similar shapes don't really look the same, and even if they do look the same, their sides are not proportional. We're going to do some work today with critical attributes of similarity. Thank you for doing your homework, and we will see you in class tomorrow.